So for today's topic, we have to talk about an insane story that's going absolutely viral at the moment, involving a cruise ship passenger that has since been arrested for somehow managing to smuggle $3 million of the white stuff, Tony Montana, cocaine on board a cruise ship, and is now facing up to life in prison. In this video, we will go over all the details that are available so far. I will give all of you a warning as to why it's probably not advisable for any of you, regardless of the amount, to try to smuggle drugs on board a cruise ship. I will also be one-upping this original primary story we're going to be talking about by telling you about an arrest that took place years ago involving two women that was somehow able to smuggle $22 million of drugs on board a cruise ship. So this past Monday on March 17th, it was confirmed by Australian authorities that a 48-year-old Brazilian national by the name of Adriano Gustavo was officially charged with drug possession and smuggling charges. According to the Australian Federal Police, or AFP, and Australia Border Force, there was an investigation that took place when a cruise ship arrived in Sydney, Australia on March 15th. When they did conduct their investigation, they would discover that inside of the ceiling of a cruise ship cabin lay 28 bags of cocaine amounting to $3 million in cash as far as the value, and 10 kilograms. It was also discovered that inside the cabin was body wrapping material, which confirmed that Adriano had intended on taking those 28 individual bags, wrapping them around himself, and smuggling them into Australia, possibly with the intent to sell to whatever distributor that they had planned to meet. Now, it hasn't been confirmed at this point in time exactly what ship all of this took place on, but there are at least three possibilities. You have Ovation of the Seas by Royal Caribbean, you have the Royal Princess by Princess Cruises, and you have the MSC Magnifica. At this point in time, Adriano is, of course, facing multiple serious charges that has a maximum penalty of life in prison. I would imagine that's probably what the Australian government and police force is going to go for, considering what is currently taking place, and to honestly kind of make a statement. Unless this man was in some way, somehow forced to commit these crimes, I would personally imagine they are probably going to hand down the harshest sentence possible. Why? Because according to the Australian Border Force, they do understand that right now we are entering cruising season. And if you have people that are able to do this or basically get away with all of these crimes with a slap on the wrist, it is potentially going to entice more people to commit these crimes. And there is naturally a rise in people doing this stuff anyway. So of course they want to try to avoid and maybe dissolve the potential for this happening in the future. Now, as we start to switch gears here, let me know in the comment section, what ship do you think this crime took place on? The Ovation of the Seas by Royal Caribbean, the Royal Princess by Princess Cruises, or the MSC Magnifica? I'm legitimately curious. Okay, so as someone that quite literally sails on cruise ships as a living and used to work on board multiple cruise ships with multiple lines as a crew member, I often hear conversations about people bringing illegal substances on board cruise ships, or they intend to. And personally, I would very, very heavily advise against it. Why? Because first of all, as a crew member, you have to understand there are a lot of classes and trainings that we have to go through, one of which is involving illegal substances, because there are crew members that do board cruise ships as a crew member for work with the intention of also having, I guess you can call it like a side hustle, where they will have connections in Jamaica or some other country or port of call, and they will do their pickups over there, and they'll have connections with maybe security or somebody else to intentionally have an operation to bring the illegal substance on board by putting it in, you know, their bag or their pocket, or what we call their prison pocket. I'm sure a lot of you know what that means. And lo and behold, especially without them having some type of connections or help, I'm not saying that there's a whole ring of this stuff that's going on. What I'm saying is, in theory, if they continue doing this, they are going to eventually get caught. As they say, fast money comes with slow problems. And depending on where it is they get caught and arrested, their penalties or charges that they face could be pretty severe. The same rules essentially apply if you are a passenger as well. First of all, if you decide to try to sneak some contraband or illegal substance on board a cruise ship as a passenger, there are so many waves of security that you have to pass through. Whenever you arrive into a port or a terminal, you got to get the drugs through there. And then you have to get it through the cruise ship security. If you put it in your bag, they might find it even during that process. There may be some suspicion that this stuff is in your room, and now you have a search of your room, and just like that you get caught. Honestly, my personal opinion, it is literally not worth it, because again, just like a crew member, should you get caught in, let's say, the Bahamas or Mexico and you end up getting arrested, you're not going to go ahead and just get shipped back over to your home country. You will get arrested in that country and you will go to jail in that country, so you shouldn't do it. So finally, let's talk about a similar situation that is currently taking place in Australia that coincidentally also took place in Australia. However, instead of $3 million of the white stuff, it was $22 million of it.
Now to those two globe-trotting women accused of smuggling more than $20 million worth of cocaine aboard a luxury cruise ship. The pair posting photos of their lavish 2-month vacation on social media before eventually getting busted in Australia. ABC's Gio Benitez is here with all the details. Good morning, Gio.
Amy, good morning. This was a massive international law enforcement operation. Even the U.S. Department of Homeland Security was tracking this ship, all to catch these women on board. From Tahiti to Bermuda to Peru, the globe-trotting bikini-clad beauties seem to be on the vacation of a lifetime, at least according to the images they posted on Instagram, with breathtaking backdrops, a little coconut water detox, a tattoo in French Polynesia. How about a quick jungle selfie? But police say hidden off Instagram, in the luggage aboard their cruise ship, 209 pounds of cocaine, worth a staggering $22 million. And now 22-year-old Melina Roberge and 28-year-old Isabel Lagace are behind bars in an Australian jail, charged with importing a commercial quantity of cocaine.
This is the biggest seizure of narcotics through a passenger stream.
The Canadian pair boarded the extravagant cruise ship, the Sea Princess, 2 months ago, starting in the UK and visiting 11 countries, many in South America, including Colombia and Ecuador, until its final destination in Sydney, Australia, where police finally arrested the two and a 63-year-old man.
The seizure of these drugs has disrupted the supply of cocaine to the streets of Sydney and beyond.
Their parents and co-workers telling local Canadian media they were in shock. Lagace's father reportedly saying she never mentioned a man would be joining them, but Australian police suggesting they were not as shocked, somehow figuring out that a massive amount of cocaine was about to run aground.
Now, believe it or not, these two women were actually pretty lucky at the end of the day when it came to their sentences, because they were looking at potentially life sentences. However, one on the other hand got just under 5 years and was eventually deported back to her home country, and the other one served 7 in addition with the time that is already served. But the lesson here remains the same. Do not do something like this. I don't think anybody is dumb enough to bring that much of an illegal substance on board a cruise ship in these days. I believe that took place back in like 2016, 2017, something around that time. But again, don't do it. Nevertheless, this is today's video. Of course, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And oh yeah, I am now consistently posting on my other YouTube channel. Well, technically it's my third, the Travel News channel, giving you guys updates and stories like this on things that are technically in travel but are outside of the cruising space. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. I am starting to now post on TikTok and my other socials as well, so make sure you guys give me a follow. I'd greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys. I love all of you, and I'll see you later. Take it easy.